Dear participants, and on behalf of my company, thank you as well for the invitation. And on perspective of a machine and solution provider, I would like to talk about trends, challenges in feed and feed mill technologies. Worldwide, we have certain challenges in our industry. Increase of production, increase of feed conversion rate, then feed safety is a big issue. This morning, I read in a newspaper, a local newspaper, that 4% of the food samples taken by authorities are dangerous and 60% are non-standard. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a small tragedy, I would say. So we have to improve them. Then antibiotic reduction, we heard from a former speaker. This is also a big topic challenging our industry. And last but not least, alternative raw materials. These are, from our side, the three major trends transforming the industry: animal nutrition and sustainability, food safety, and Internet of Things. Internet of Things starts not only at the farm level, it starts far before. We say from farm to fork. All in between has to be transparent, and we have to get transparency on what the processes in between have been done. Impact of particle size, which influence the animal health. We heard that in the previous speech as well, is very essential. So with the textured feed in our industry, we can influence the animal health, especially on broiler feed. We have good results when we are grinding a bit coarser and improve the muscular stomach, the gizzard, so-called, for the birds. It also has a positive impact on the mortality and gives a slightly higher animal performance. This can be influenced online, ladies and gentlemen, in nowadays. So either on roller mills or on hammer mills. On roller mills, we are influencing the roll gap by automatic adjustment, and then we have following a sampling device where we take the samples and can analyze online the structure of the feed. This works also in hammer mills and either in post-grinding or single grinding applications. You see the online particle size measurement works for all kinds of animals. So for the pork, for the poultry, layer industry, also for cattle and beef. And you see from 500 microns up to 2 millimeter, it is easy to detect and to influence what improves the quality and assures also the quality in the feed production. Some other intelligent processes are, for example, the multi-NIR technology. This can be put in a feed plant at the intake level to check the raw materials, then by the mixer or conditioner, then we can analyze and balance already moisture, fat, protein will come when liquid proteins will be available, then we can also influence that online. At the cooler we can measure moisture, for example, and also other ingredients, so that you have really a quality assurance over all the processes in a feed plant. What is the motivation for an animal? So 70% of the feed represents the cost, or the cost for feed represents 70% of the cost in producing meat, milk, and eggs. So that means that we should really balance the energy, protein, mineral, but also the humidity in the feed. NIR is nothing new in our industry, but new is that we are having that online and can measure what we are doing in our processes. This is a new challenge. We heard this morning as well, antibiotics, the overuse in the animal industry is tremendous. 2/3 of the antibiotics used are for animal production. Ladies and gentlemen, this is far too much. So we heard also about antimicrobial resistances, and this goes on. So when we do not stop that, in 2050 we will have 50,000 deaths only in European countries and the US. So we heard that in India will be 2 million people in about 2040. That means, what does it mean to India? And here we have to take care. And this is our industry, and we should take response as well. So food and feed safety, here it starts with the plant design, machine design, the operation. So we have to prevent mycotoxin and we have to reduce it. We have to put in place validation steps for bacteria, Salmonella, for example. And last but not least, we have to bring up the know-how in our industry. This, I guess, is also essential. Then to have good people means they are motivated and they are working much better. Examples for food and feed safety solutions are, for example, machine design, which are in nowadays, you should not create a lot of mold on it, especially on pellet machines. You have a hot and humid environment, and the doors and also the dies should be free of materials. Then in the food and feed industry, we have mycotoxins, and also here to control that, I show you some solutions as well. Then bacteria and Salmonella reduction is very essential in our industry. We have solutions, and also other suppliers have good solutions for destroying these germs. So the value chain of preventing and reducing mycotoxin. If you think you can reduce toxins by heat, then you are wrong. From 160 degrees on, you are destroying proteins and also starch. So it's not a good idea to overheat the grains, for example, or pulses. So here it is very good if you are drying to a certain level which you can easily store your product, and cleaning. Cleaning is very essential. With the cleaning process you can rid of most of your affected products. Then degrading is also a possibility to reduce mycotoxin level. I'll show you some examples as well. What can we do when we have products affected with mycotoxins or toxins? So a common practice is to blend materials, so harmful with unharmful products, but this is illegal in most of the countries I know. Then mycotoxin binders. This is in our industry very common to use, but you see the effect in the production cost will rise, of course. And especially most of the binders are optimized for aflatoxin, but not effective regarding other mycotoxins. That's why it has a questionable effect. And still, it is in the loop. Huh? So you get not rid of the aflatoxin. It will not harm the animal, but with the dung, it goes as fertilizer to the ground, and it comes again. Another thing is the grain cleaning. This is one of the best possibilities you have in the food and feed industry. So feed cleaning can remove or deduct the mycotoxin level to a level which the animals and also the human body can absorb. This is an example from Italy, where they got corn with biomass quality, with a high dilution of aflatoxin. You see 28 or 23 ppb, and by sieving, aspiration, gravity separators, and optical sorters, you can reduce to a level which is acceptable in our industry. Especially Sortex or color sorting is something for human consumption, which in our industry, in the feed industry, is not that common. But I would say if you have a proper cleaning, that's good enough. You really can improve the quality of the feed. Another big topic is Salmonella mold bacteria, and these can be by the pelleting process with a good conditioning system inactivated or reduced to an unharmful level. You also can increase the throughput capacity because the feed needs some moisture, that it gives good pellet quality and good PDI at the end. These are solutions for feed safety. As I mentioned, it starts with the intake raw material storage, where you have to dry when it comes directly from harvest. Then good cleaning and grinding system is essential, mixing and blending, and these are the unsafe steps in the feed production. Now we are coming to the safe side, and there we have to implement a kill step. This is the hygienizer or conditioner in a feed plant. From then on, we can say, okay, it is a safe production. But all the other following processes has to be clean as well. And to keep hygienic, especially in a cooler, you need sometimes hot air. Automation, ladies and gentlemen, this is the key enabler for feed industry. We have seen examples what they are doing on farms, but also in feed production. So enables you to sequencing the recipes. You are having full traceability. You are doing what you are processing in the plant. Operation logs. This gives traceability of operation. And validation. Validation means you can create your kill steps internally, and you can show your, when you sell the feed, you can track and trace it, and you can provide that also on your paper to your clients. These are the feed safety solution, which starts, as I mentioned, with hygienic engineering, services and consulting, feed safety intelligence, then automation, recipe sequencing. A big issue is the condensation prevention in the cooling sector and also in the conditioning sector. You should start up a pellet machine not before adding hot air, dry out everything, and that the steam cannot condensate on the cold walls. So this is a principle of hygienization in the process. And last but not least, when you are loading trucks, you are sure you have the full traceability. Now let's talk about alternative proteins in our industry. So there are some already in place. Beside our biggest protein source, soya, there are algae is an alternative protein. Pulses are alternative proteins, or yeast. But I will tackle another one. It will follow. Soybean meal, I mentioned 60% worldwide in our feed industry. It is used as a protein source. Then all the other oil crops, soybean, peanut, sunflower, peanut, and others, fish meal, I mentioned pulses as well. And now it comes the availability, or the producer are mainly in the US, in North and Southern US American states. But the consumers are either in Europe, in Asia, China, and you see we have a big gap. We will get a big gap. The prices therefore rising up dramatically. And what is the alternative now? Insects could be an alternative to gain protein, and this is especially for food and feed industry an excellent protein source. Insects can grow on organic residues which are available around the world. And farming insects need relatively less space. Insects are very nutritious for animals and humans. So protein meal has almost the same protein level than soybean meal. So up to 60%. And also the even higher. So I mean fish meal has 60%. Soybean meal has 48%. Right. And also the amino acids are very high. And insects can close the loop in the food and value chain. You see the crop production worldwide is about 700 million tons. Then in the food processing, there are food waste, and in the retail and at the consumer side. So reusing these organic residues, so we can gain about 70% of the protein we can recover and make available for the food and feed industry. So think about this was my speech, and I would like to thank you very much. And with that sentence, I would close my session.